On average, 1 in 8 men suffer with depression. With this epidemic showing no signs of slowing down, one would assume that, especially in young men, it would be spoken about more. However, this is not the case. I'm on a mission to find out why this is and what can be done to stop it. To find out more about this issue, I've come to Melksham Cams to speak with Sarah Collins.
I guess, firstly, I don't know if it's any different than what it's always been. I think now the way that social media reports it is different. And maybe the awareness has meant that more men are now reporting it. And I think historically the issue has been that men underreport, their symptoms. I think that men have different thresholds, so whereas women might help seek sooner, whereas men definitely wouldn't and would try and get on with it and do their own thing. I think that now that we've developed more awareness, people or men are recognising it more as, that might be a bit of an issue for me. So I don't know if it's massively different historically, but I just think how we know more about it now and that men are gradually recognising their symptoms earlier, that might be where there's been a shift.
Okay. There's been a sort of recent rise in mental health awareness over the last 10 several years.
Yeah.
So do you think that's had an impact on how men are speaking about themselves and
Yeah,
their emotions?
I think it's a sort of trickle effect really. I think generally the government worked really hard to introduce this idea of that men need to be encouraged to open up sooner. I think that the awareness has come from a positive social media as well, and I think of there's campaigns where I think it's called the Bearded Man campaign or something like that, where it's really opening it up for men to talk about it more. And I think as well, I watched this of course, The Only Way is Essex, but there was they were highlighting the need for men to talk more about mental health. So I think it gradually is developing more of a culture. But you've got to remember that culture is going to take many years to change. So I think historically we know that men, it's very much get on with it, do your day-to-day stuff and hopefully it go away. And I think as we get through the years that the culture of talking will become more embedded within normal, day-to-day life.
Okay, so you, in those last two questions, you spoke a lot about social media.
Yeah.
So do you feel that that's had, you spoke about it positively,
Yeah.
but do you also think that it's had a negative impact on the way men speak about their emotions?
I guess it's anything with social media. There's always a positive and a negative side of it as well. Potentially because it might be an avenue where people feel more able to ask for help.
Okay, so do you feel that besides social media there's any other aspects in, I guess, social and different aspects of life that sort of also have a negative impact on the way men speak about their emotions?
I guess there is always the stigma, isn't it, that you're seen to be weak and, that opens up that vulnerability, doesn't it, really? And I think it is about changing that. And the government now are talking about an emotionally rich education system where we're actually talking about our emotions within our education system. So actually, moving away from that stigma. It's okay to talk about emotions. No different that if you had a reoccurring headache, you would go to your GP, because if it's bothering you, then it's obviously important. Then it's developing that emotionally rich conversations in schools. So you're moving away from it being seen as something weak, and taking away that stigma really.
So you spoke a lot about different websites to help men and people in general speak up and to encourage them, and you also spoke about things in schools that the government are running.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's enough sort of things to help people open up about themselves, or do you think there should be more?
I don't know really. That's a big question. I will always advocate. I think there needs to be more. I see a lot of students that really struggle with stress and anxiety, and I think it's about, for those students that I work in schools, it's about them being able to approach me and talk to me. That's great if it's in their school. It's not in every school though. So there will always be a greater need for services, and but also it's about helping families know where to get help, and that's a lot of what I do as well. We call it signposting, which is, and I'm doing it later today, I'll be phoning families up that have made a referral into CAMHS and saying, look, have you considered this? Let me help you, make a referral to this service. So that is always going to be an ongoing job, really helping families navigate our system of support. And I think that services that do advertise themselves, but not everyone knows where to get that information from. So I think that there needs to be a lot of work around that as an ongoing, development, really.
I've managed to get in contact with someone currently dealing with these issues. However, he wanted to remain anonymous during this interview. You alright, man? How are you, man?
Respect.
So, do you feel it's hard to talk about your emotions to people?
It depends who to, doesn't it? If it's someone I'm close with, if it's my mates, I can talk to them because they understand what's going on. They understand what is being our age, but be it family, stuff like that, or people that I don't really know, then it's kind of a lot harder.
Yeah, so you feel like if you're trying to talk to an old person, it's more difficult to talk to them about because of their age.
Yeah, they've kind of got a different mindset to our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, talking to my friends is the best option.
Yeah.
But also there's the whole thing about just man up.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one of those big ones at the moment that you got to think. Well, it's like other people think just man up, but really, even if you think it's not that serious, do have a chat to your mates. Have a word. It's worth it at the end of the day, innit?
Yeah. So, do you think there's enough awareness surrounding young men and mental health?
I don't think so, but what I do think is that we are heading in the direction and that it is getting better, which thank God for that, because there is a lot of people out there with mental health problems that don't speak out.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was more open to talk about, then I reckon they'd come forwards and it would make everyone's lives a lot better and it'd improve just general living.
What do you think can be done to sort of stop depression and mental health in general in young men from being such a big issue?
Again, it's just talk to your mates. That is the best thing. Have a word about anything, big or small. Just let them know how you're feeling. Maybe they might talk to you and open up a little bit at the same time. It's always good because you know that they'll be there to support you if they're good friends.
Yeah.
Just getting it out there, getting it talked about is step one in it.
Yeah. So do you think maybe fundraisers and stuff like that could be a good sort of way to open up, or to make it more aware?
Yeah, I think fundraisers and events are a great idea. Get people round for anything, kind of like Macmillan do their coffee morning type stuff. Get people around, have a bite to eat, have a talk about it, and you'll find yourself getting better. Just have a word, get your mates round. Get some money raised for charities that talk about mental health and help people with mental health issues.
Yeah, man, I agree. When I started my documentary, I wanted to find out why so many young men suffer and what can be done to stop it. The interview that I had with the expert on mental health helped me to find out the causes and the effects of depression in young men. Speak about their emotions.
I guess there is always the stigma, isn't it, that you're seen to be weak, and that opens up that vulnerability, doesn't it, really?
And the interview that I had with the person dealing with these issues helped me to find out what can be done to stop this.
Yeah, I think fundraisers and events are a great idea. Get people round for anything, kind of like Macmillan do their coffee morning type stuff. Get people round.
I had an interview with an expert on mental health and an interview with someone that was dealing with these issues, and both of them helped me to answer my questions.